A list of mania. Think less but see it grow.
Hello everybody, it is the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to your final 10 for 12 of 2018. Just in case you are new to my channel, welcome, it is a pleasure to have you. And for all of you returning, I'm sure you are all excited for another top 10 list of interesting stuff. So, as always, when it comes to the year's end, I like to do the same topic, which is the 10 events that shaped the year, and I have 3 fellow YouTubers collaborating with me today, which are my friends Joanna, Taylor, and Lauren. No, I will not mention their YouTube channels out loud, but they will be provided in the box below, because I have decided that one of the things that I will carry on into the new year is that when I am collaborating with someone, I want people to know that these are not just YouTubers, these are friends of mine, and I feel that my friendship needs to be shown by giving you guys their names on a first name basis rather than a channel basis. But you will still be able to see their top 10 lists as well as all their great content on their channels because they are wonderful. I have worked with a couple of them. We have done some live shows together. Next year I will be on Taylor's channel doing a live show at some point in time featuring horror films, which I'm very excited for, and she might actually end up on my channel next year, so who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, 2018, outside of what I'm going to be talking about, which is basically current events that shaped the year, it was a very rewarding year, even though it was also a very strenuous year. I mean, I'm now officially a homeowner, and I love this wonderful house that I'm living in. Also, I had a very interesting thing happen with my camera. I ended up breaking it on the first day that I recorded in my new house. Luckily, I was able to find a working exact replacement for a very good price on eBay. So yeah, I ended up breaking my flip cam during the process of moving, so yay me, but I'm still here and I'm still recording videos, so I'm glad that I am able to give you guys a great 10 for 12. And it was definitely interesting because I wanted to make sure that I got the topics that really hit home with me. Whether it was politics, whether it was entertainment, whether it was popular culture, whether it was news or sports, I just want to make sure that I think that I had gotten the 10 best moments. And if you think I missed something, you will be welcome to put it in the box below. But my 3 fantastic collaborators are going to be putting their own little spin on this topic because they are allowed to. That's freedom here in this wonderful platform. So let's go into the top 10 events that shaped 2018. So, number 10, I refer to as Red versus Blue, the America Chronicles. And this basically encompasses the entire political landscape, whether it was all of the stuff involving Stormy Daniels or the possible peace treaty between North Korea and the United States and South Korea, the tariffs, what have you. The point that I'm trying to make is, even after 2 years, we are still alive, but we are still extremely divided. And the reason why this is not the most important topic that happened this past year is because I think we can all agree that we're sick and tired of all of this bias, all of this personal opinion, even though we are allowed to have our own takes and our own personal opinions on anything. We have to put those things aside when we're trying to put important things into perspective and try to find a common ground. It's the reason why I choose to talk to people who don't think the same way that I do. It's the reason why I talked about politics for 2 hours on my last Sunday sit-down with my friends Jeremy and Caleb, and I would love to talk more about these types of things with them. But the point that I'm trying to make is we are all citizens in one country, and we have to try and find a way to unite and realize that we are allowed to live at peace with one another regardless of how we think. Unfortunately, if you disagree with that, I think that you are entirely wrong, but again, that's my opinion. That's just how I feel. Number 9 is Wakanda Forever. Yeah, it was impossible for me to not mention one of the biggest films in the world of movies that just shattered the box office, and that, of course, was Black Panther. Even though, let's be honest, Avengers Infinity War was the more epic and better movie in the MCU that got released this year. Because of the fact that this movie was a predominantly black cast, it included a bunch of black actors that we had seen in artsy films, Oscar award-winning films, but it was great to finally see some of these truly talented actors in a film that everybody wanted to go see, And it was also a great Marvel film because it finally gave us a very serious character development story, which is something that I thought that the MCU was lacking. And then we got 2 great follow-ups, and we're going to be getting a sequel to Black Panther as well. So it was definitely one of the best, most talked about films of the year, and I am so glad that it was created because it is one of the better films in the MCU today. Number 8 is A Man Called Hawking. We lost one of the most amazing minds in the history of mankind, and that, of course, is Stephen Hawking. I mean, if you're someone who doesn't really follow what he studied and what he wrote about, that's okay. I was one of them. But I was also one of those people who knew who Stephen Hawking was because popular culture made him a pop culture icon. He showed up on The Simpsons. He showed up on The Big Bang Theory. He is a name that we all knew, just as regular average people in this world before he passed away. Not to mention an amazing film starring Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones called The Theory of Everything, which really gave us not just the scientist, but the man. And all of the struggles that he had to go through, and yet even in his condition, he still managed to make an impact, and he still managed to be relevant, and he also showed that even if you have a disability, you can achieve great things. So, Godspeed to you, Mr. Hawking. Number 7 is a sports moment, actually 2, because it took place during the Winter Olympics, and it's probably one that you may have forgotten, but that's why I'm here to tell it to you guys. Do you guys remember the fact that the United States women's hockey team and the United States men's curling team both won the gold medal at the Olympics this year? I remember this because I was in Disney World, but my wife and I are such Olympic nuts, we had to make sure that we knew what was going on. And these were 2 teams that everybody felt were not going to go far, although the women's hockey team people thought were at least going to get to the finals. But the fact that they finally got their rivals to let them have that one moment of glory, the Canadian team lost to them, and they had such an uphill battle to get to this moment and get that gold medal. And the curling team, this is a sport that the United States usually gets counted out of entirely. I do remember, however, the men's team winning the bronze, I believe, during the Vancouver Games. It was also the most popular sport watched in the United States during the Olympics. So the fact that these 2 U.S. teams actually got on the podium on the number 1 spot, holding their gold medals high and proud, made me proud that we did get those specific gold medals in the Winter Games. Number 6 is called Winter's Last Hurrah. And that is because of the fact that we saw some of the most unusual weather patterns this year. Yes, I know that we also had some horrible hurricanes the year before, but we had one of the coldest springs ever. There was even snowstorms in the middle of April and the end of April all over the United States, along with additional crazy weather patterns. But I will never forget the fact that even going into May, we had extremely cold, below average temperatures. In the day that people say that the world is getting hotter, when you have springs like that, it's just something that really begs the question, is it global warming or is it climate change? There's definitely a very big distinction between the two when you take a look at an April and May like that. Number 5 is what I like to call Shut Up Hollywood, and that is where we officially go back into politics, because when it comes to people making political statements and saying political opinions, Hollywood is the last group of people that you want to hear say political statements, because they may be saying things that you agree with, but they're not living the life and giving to the causes that you agree with and are fighting for. Believe it or not, they're not. They are wealthy people living in their 12 mansions that have 15 bathrooms and 25 bedrooms, and they have 50 cars in their garage. I mean, for crying out loud, these are the last people that should be talking about politics, getting on the proverbial soapboxes, and telling you what you need to believe and how you need to think. They are not great people. They are wealthy people that don't give a rat's ass about the common man, and you'll see that when some of these things that you want in this world may actually come to pass. You'll see them start saying, yeah, we're not going to do this, we're not following you, we have all our money, why should we do what you're doing? You'll see, they're not on our side, guys. I'm sorry, they shouldn't be saying a word. Number 4 is Fly, Eagles, Fly. How could I not talk about the Super Bowl champions? I mean, I was not interested in even watching the game because I really thought that the Patriots were going to mop the floor with them, but the Eagles came through, and they surprised us all. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl this past year because I just wasn't interested in a game that probably was one-sided, but my God was I wrong, and thank God I actually walked out into my living room in my apartment where my wife was actually watching the game, and I actually saw the best play of the game, so thank goodness, and I'm so happy that the Eagles won because I always like to root for a team that has never won a championship in their careers. So congratulations, Philadelphia. Congratulations, Eagles. Just embrace it. Embrace it. I know you guys still are. Number 3 is definitely something that impacted me and many other people within my generation and generations above and below, and that is Toys R Us Kids Forever. One of the most horrible events that happened this year was the fact that the greatest toy store of all time declared bankruptcy, and now there are no more Toys R Us in the United States. Apparently there are some in Europe, and there are some still open in Canada, but we were all Toys R Us kids. One of the greatest things that we all remember from our childhoods was getting to go to the toy store and run around and look at all the amazing toys and just point at everything that we wanted and even cry knowing that we aren't going to get something today. But Toys R Us was one of the most important staples of my childhood. I wish that it didn't have to do what it did, but I will always remember all of the amazing memories. I wish that I could even take a future child to Toys R Us, but it's not going to happen. But at least I was able to get the Jeffrey the Giraffe Funko Pop, so when my child is old enough, I will sit him or her or them down, depending on how many children I have in the future, and tell them the wonderful story about Jeffrey the Giraffe and how it was to be a Toys R Us kid. Number 2 is Remember Pepito. This is an event that definitely stirred up a crazy amount of stories this entire year, and that was animals on planes, and one of them was a dog that suffocated on a plane. It was a horrible thing, the fact that these people brought the family pet with them, and the flight attendant put the bag where the dog was in and put it in an overhead compartment, and the dog suffocated, and then that led to the whole controversy with emotional support animals on planes. Animals had a major role to play this year, particularly pets. It's really got to be thought about. There needs to be some true solutions in regards to animals being brought on planes, whether they are pets, whether they are emotional support animals, whether they are service animals. There really needs to be, after this year, some serious discussions between the airlines and I guess animal protection agencies, I don't know, animal service agencies. There needs to be some new solutions brought up so people can actually bring their furry companions on planes without having issues with other passengers. And that leads to the number 1 event of this year, and I think it can all be summed up in one way. Think of the children. Children had the roughest year this year. Everything from kids, unfortunately, having been caught in the crossfire of school shootings, to a Taiwanese soccer team caught in an underground series of cave tunnels. We need to really focus on the children, and it's not just about protecting them. There also needs to be a huge overhaul in raising children, in teaching children. There needs to be a serious reform in education, because we always say that the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Unfortunately, we're not doing that at this point in time, especially when we take a look at kids that have become adults in the last 10, 15 years, how some of them are more clueless than younger kids being taught in elementary schools even today. There needs to be civics taught in school. There needs to be serious background checks on guns. There needs to be life courses. Kids, when they get into their tweens, they need to be taught how to do their laundry, how to cook food, how to balance checkbooks, how to save, how to use a credit card, how to, at some point in time, pay a mortgage, take out a life insurance policy. Some kids are not fortunate enough to have grown up in complete families, and that's not their fault. But me, I was taught by my parents how to live life, and they are busy people. Some parents don't even have the time to be with their kids because of all the craziness that is going on with cost of living, two-income households, equality in the workplace. Those are other things that need to be addressed and discussed to try and find some happy mediums. But children are being neglected, and children are being left to the wolves. And it's a sickening thing. I really am blessed that I had loving parents that taught me how to live my life. Yes, I had to learn a couple of things on my own, but luckily I had parents and teachers that taught me these things. And some of these kids being raised these days are not being taught that anymore. And it's not their fault. The teachers have to take their jobs more seriously. Let me just say this, there are plenty of teachers that do. My wife is one of them, and she loves her job. I know so many teachers that do take their job seriously, but there are some that coast. We can't deny that. Parents need to be parents again. They can't be friends, they can't be buddies to their kids. They need to know that when the parents say something, the kid has to listen, the parents are in charge. There can be a loving relationship if your father and mother happen to be drill sergeants, okay? My dad ruled his house with an iron fist, but he and I have never been closer, and I am just so happy that we have learned from each other so much. But the children really are our future, everybody. These are going to be kids that should be running our country in the next couple of years. We need to make sure that they're capable of doing so. And that's it, everybody. Those are my 10 events that shaped 2018. Taylor, Lauren, and Joanna, I'm really excited to see what you have to say because this is a blind box as always, everybody. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'm looking forward to another strong 10 for 12 series next year, as well as collaborating with a whole new bunch of other YouTubers. But until then, everybody, I will see you in the next one. Have a very happy and healthy new year. Crying out loud, I am now officially a homeowner, and that was, oh dear Lord. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.